Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tahir Khalid. I'd like to welcome to our program here on Sharjah TV, In Search of the Truth. And in today's program, we want to talk about who are the weak ones and who are the needy and what is our responsibility in relationship to them. Many of us misunderstand these things. When we think about the needy and the weak, we think about them in relationship to people who are on the poverty level, meaning below poverty, what we call poverty level in our where it is that we live, that we think these are weak people, these are needy people. This is not necessarily the case. So we want to discuss that a little bit, and then we'll see. We'll see. And Abu Darda reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Seek among your weak ones, for you are given provisions and help only because of the weak among you." We are given provision, help because of the weak ones. Meaning that our sustenance comes because of the poor and the needy, not because of the rich. Now, most of us think that these things come because of rich people, or rich people have the means and methodologies to take care of the poor, and this is just out of the goodness of their hearts that people in authority or wealthy people decide that they will help those people who are weak or poor or destitute. No, the wealth comes because of the poor, not conversely, not because of the rich. Even though many of the rich, they think it's like that. They think it's their right, as an example. And Haritha bin Wahab reported that, I heard the Prophet ﷺ saying, "Shall I not inform you about the people of Jannah? It is every person who is modest and humble before Allah." It is every person who is modest and humble before Allah. And Jannah is paradise. "A person who is accounted weak and is looked down upon, but if he adjures Allah, Allah will certainly give him what he desires." The person is looked down upon and considered weak and poor, but he's really not this. He is really humble. So what does that mean? That means that that person is a person who has worked to get close to Allah. In your eyes, or in the eyes of the society, he may appear to be someone who's weak and very destitute or poor. But actually that person is the one who's close to Allah, not the one who is very wealthy. "Now shall I not inform you about the inmates of hell? It is every violent, impertinent, and proud man." This is collected by Bukhari and Muslim. Every violent, impertinent, and proud man. And many instances, these are people who we respect, isn't it? Isn't it? Look, when we talk about violent, we say, what do you mean by violent? You know, violent is relative to many things, because many of the people who are extremely violent, they are, you want to say, there are kind of like barriers between them and you, so you don't see it like that. They may appear in one fashion, but there are levels of protection between the common man and them. So the common man sees them maybe even as a great philanthropist, person who loves to give, to help the poor and the needy. But really, he is a very violent person. And for example, the means that he achieves his income may be extremely oppressive. But you don't ever see it like that, because there's layers between him and the society and what he really does. And he may be extremely arrogant. And we see Allah doesn't like that. And Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, "He who removes from a believer one of his difficulties of this world, he who removes one of the difficulties from a believer of this world, Allah will remove one of the troubles on the day of resurrection." So if you're a believer and you make it easy for another believer in this world, Allah will remove their troubles on the day of judgment. It's a very simple thing right now to get a very big reward in the hereafter. "And he who finds relief for a hard-pressed person, Allah will make things easy for him on the day of resurrection. And he who finds relief, someone who's in difficulty. For a person who is in difficulty, Allah will make it easy for him on the day of resurrection. And he who covers up the faults of a Muslim, Allah will cover up his faults in this world and in the hereafter. You cover up the faults of a Muslim, Allah will cover up your faults in this life and the hereafter. So if you do the best to protect a person's integrity, someone is talking about a person, you say, well, wait a minute, don't talk about this man, This is backbiting, don't do this. And all of us have bad and all of us have good, so stop at this point. Allah will cover up your faults in this life and in the hereafter. All of us have faults, and big faults. None of us want to be exposed to the general public. Even though we know Allah knows all. So Allah will hide your faults in this life and in the hereafter. Allah supports his slave as long as the slave is supportive of his brother. And he who treads the path in search of knowledge, Allah makes that path easy, leading to Jannah for him. So, support your brother, Allah will support you. That's simple. Do the things which will help your brother, Allah will help you. Do something to help other people, Allah will help you. And help can be on many different levels. Help can be something as simple as removing something in the street that will be harmful to people, harmful to a car, as an example. Something that's simple. Or a kind greeting. Or speaking to someone when you see that person may be afflicted by some difficulty and encouraging him. Simple thing, big reward. And Allah makes the path easy to Jannah for the person who makes the path of Allah, strives in the path of Allah for the knowledge. In this knowledge, we're talking about Islamic. That means for the person who striving to gain Islamic knowledge, Allah also makes the path easy for him for Jannah. So all of us cannot necessarily be scholars, but all of us can strive to get Islamic knowledge with that intention. And may Allah guide us to that and give us the reward for it. The people who assembled in one of the houses of Allah, reciting the book of Allah, learning it and teaching it, there descends upon them the tranquility, and the mercy covers them. The angels flock around them, and Allah mentions them in the presence of those near him. This is a big thing. And he, subhanAllah, Allah and his mercy, this is for just sitting in the masjid, sometime before the prayers or after the prayers, sitting and reading some Quran, or sitting in a group of brothers who are reading Quran, or sisters who are reading Quran, remembering Allah, or sitting just doing the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or inviting people to Islam, or reminding each other about our duties to Islam. It says that tranquility and the mercy of Allah descends on these gatherings. And Allah mentions these people in the gathering of angels. Very simple effort, very big reward. So we should attempt to get the full blessing out of the time that we spend in the masjid. And he who lags behind in doing good deeds, his noble lineage will not make him go ahead. Some people think that, I'm from such and such a family. Do you know who I am? You know who my father was? You know who my grandfather was? And they think that's enough. They're living on the accomplishments of their ancestors. And that's what we call their claim to fame. And they think that's enough for them. You know who I am? I'm a so-and-so and so-and-so. And my father was so-and-so and so. And my grandfather was so-and-so. What does that have to do with you? We need to ask ourselves that. What does it have to do with you? What have you done today for the sake of your own soul? If you're aware and now have knowledge of those people who have done so much good work, then they have established an example, a role model for you to strive and to improve on. That's what we should look at. How can I improve on this? My family members were like so-and-so, and I want to be better than them to please Allah. So that's what we should try to do to improve on this, not use it as a means of pride and arrogance and elitism. No. But to use it as a means to inspire me to do more good works and do more of the things that Allah would be pleased with.